Okay.
Wait, I get through here. You look sharp this morning, David.
How are you, Mr. Reeves?
Doing good. You're shining good.
Shining good.
Yeah. It's gonna be a blue day.
Everybody's got a blue shirt on.
Just trying to
I'm sorry.
No, look, everybody's wearing blue today.
Even Dwayne got some blue.
Did you know? Did they tell you? Apparently this year.
I missed out.
Blue meeting.
Greg even has on blue.
Basically, you have to pay it in. It has to be a caption back.
But you got a resolution, what you got to do?
That's what I wanted. Yeah.
What's your resolution?
Oh, that's what we did. That's right. Sure.
Yeah. I know it's been hard. I just need to kind of get. You're gonna get it.
Yep. In a praying mood this morning. Sure. Glad you're glad to move this morning. Sure.
Don't have a lot. Ain't got
Something that. We go from 7 now. Okay.
7, and then 7-1, 7-2.
We have a new software program.
It takes me a while.
Just take your ink pen and check them off.
It doesn't let me check the numbers. So you're gonna have to get used to it.
Like,
Nick, Santa, man.
like off changes.
It's just gonna take some minutes. I have to put the presenter on there first because there's no place for it afterwards. And it works with Lee's minutes as well. She can just grab it from there over to her minutes.
You don't have them ourselves. First of all, were they in it? When did they? Yeah, that's kind of the text still. Okay. You know, doesn't say.
Oh, really?
Yes, the 31st. We didn't specify.
Lightly tapped. Morning, everybody, or howdy, as we say. Regular meeting, Commissioners Court, Liberty County, August the 11th, it's about 9 a.m. We have a quorum established. I see Mr. Reeves and Mr. Wilson online by way of Zoom with us. Also present, David Douglas, Engineering, Sheriff Rader, and Mr. Gott from the Auditing Department, Kim Harris, our Treasurer, Bill Hunter-Giller, Fire Marshal, and Natalie over in person. So, good to go. We do have business for the court if we would ought. At this time, let's all rise for the pledges. Let Bush lead us in those, and Natalie's going to lead us in our invocation.
Join us in the American flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag, please. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Y'all would all join me in prayer. Father God, we come to you and we thank you so much for this beautiful morning that Commissioners Court gathers together in. And we ask that you please be with this Commissioners Court. Give them wisdom, courage, strength, that they would, as we all would, always put the interests of the people we govern before our own, that we would remove our own personalities from the equation, that we would do what is right and best for the correct reason. We pray all this in your holy name, Father God. Amen.
Amen. We have Will Carter from Dr. Babin's office, Congressman. And Will, how is the doctor doing today?
Doing well, so he sends his regards and wishes he could be here for you.
I'm sure he's doing like the rest of us and trying to not get the COVID.
Amen.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, Will is here today representing Dr. Babin with a proclamation for our late friend John Otto, who was our state representative for 12 years. We lost him a year and a half ago. It's a really good friend. But if you yes, sir, please.
So I've got two things from Congressman Babin this morning. I've got a flag here that was flown over the U.S. Capitol building, and I'll read the accompanying certificate. In memory of Representative John Clifford Otto, the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C., to honor the life and legacy of a public servant who served the people of District 18 with integrity for 12 years in the Texas House of Representatives. A community leader, a small business owner, a soldier, and a family man. I've also got here a statement we put into the congressional record. So this is very similar to a resolution. This statement will be in the record for the rest of history, as long as there is a Library of Congress. Representative Otto's family will be able to see this statement. And I'll just read a brief portion. It's honoring the life and service of former Texas State Representative John Clifford Otto. Madam Speaker, I rise today to honor the life in service of former Texas State Representative John Clifford Otto, who passed away after a lengthy battle with pancreatic cancer on August 1st, 2020. Representative Otto served the people of House District 18 with distinction for 6 terms in the Texas House of Representatives. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the family of Representative Otto for his lifetime of faithful service and devotion to his country, state, community, and Texas A&M University. My thoughts and prayers remain with his family and friends. Dr. Brian Babin. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we all be sending that to Nancy and the family.
Yes, sir, we will.
Thank you so much. We also have a resolution through the county where we joined in with the city of Dayton in honoring Representative Otto for his years of service and his, well, especially his friendship to the county. And it reads, whereas John Otto has been a lifelong resident of Liberty County and honorably served in this county, Texas State Legislature as our District 18 state representative from 2004 until 2017. And whereas Representative Otto, during his years of public service to the state of Texas and Liberty County, was a formidable figure in local and state government, having served as a member of the Dayton City Council, Dayton School Board, and the Texas State Legislature. I might add, he was also on the Board of Trustees at our church for a long, long time. Whereas Representative Otto, having served in many capacities with the state legislature, include chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, has throughout his public service career always lent his exemplary talents and skills as a class of 70 Aggie certified public accountant to make our better his city, school district, county, and state. Whereas Representative Otto, always a visionary toward improvements in economic development and public safety and an enhanced quality of life for his constituents, was a driving force in the widening of State Highway 146 between the cities of Dayton and Mont Bellevue, where a safer highway was realized upon its completion in 2011, bringing about greater economic opportunities and more efficient transportation route to cities further south. And whereas in consideration of Representative Otto's exemplary leadership and commitment to his great state and his fellow citizens, be resolved in recognition to his unselfish service to the city of Dayton, Dayton Independent School District, Liberty County, and the great state of Texas, the portion of State Highway 146 from its intersection with US 90 south to the Dayton city limits be named the John Otto Expressway, in commemoration of his many years of valuable service to us all, and with our grateful acknowledgement to him and our many thanks for a job always well done, signed and sealed the 30th day of July 2020 by Commissioners Court, Liberty County. I might say that we all have probably a good John Otto story. If you've lived long enough in Liberty County and were around him long enough to have a good John Otto story. Of course, mine mostly revolved around Aggie football and Texas A&M, but I do remember after Hurricane Harvey, and as y'all remember what Hurricane Harvey did to Liberty County, I hope to never see anything like that again, although sometimes I think we're living it once again right now. But the governor called a group of 7 county judges together to meet over in Beaumont to discuss the damages done by Harvey and what we could do in a hurry to rebuild Texas. And as y'all know, John Otto, Tommy Williams, John Sharp were the leading members of the Rebuild Texas group. You couldn't have a better partner. So as we were sitting in the meeting, I walked in the door and it was full of people. The governor was there, the lieutenant governor was there, Dr. Babin was there, and the media was there. And so we had, I'm sure the media had their moment of opportunity for pictures and such. And the governor at that point said, "That's enough, y'all leave. We have business to do." And shortly thereafter, I know that at that meeting, Chief Kidd with TDM was also there, and the representative for this whole southern region of FEMA was also present. So I knew something was really going to be interesting at this meeting. John came and said, I was really happy to have him sit there at the table. And he kind of leaned over, kind of grinned and said, "Get ready, this is going to be good." I said, after all the things that I've seen with Harvey, I need some good right now. Well, the governor, after getting the media to leave the meeting, went to each county judge and asked, "What do you need?" And the first person he picked was me. I guess because where I was sitting at the table at the time. He said that we have the opportunity right now to forward $1 million to your county if you need it. You know, it will be accountable now. I mean, but if you need money right now for expenses due to Harvey, we can get the checkbook out and give you $1 million right now to help you. I'll take that, John Dutchman. I'm thinking, what else do I need? And he kind of leaned over and said, ask for whatever you need. I said, well, I talked to the commissioners, and, you know, because we were meeting during Harvey, and mosquitoes were a problem. And it's one of those kind of moments where, by the way, I sure could use a couple of C-130s flying over Liberty County spraying for mosquitoes. Governor said, okay. Looked at Chief Kidd and said, when can we make that happen? He said, probably by Thursday. Well, this was a Saturday. The governor said, make it Tuesday. I looked at John, he said, it'll happen. And that's when Chief Kidd said it'll happen, and that's what happened. That's how that group came together to help us. And I really am thankful that we had that opportunity. And we had the help of John, especially in those times when he's been through a few hurricanes himself, and he just finished one not too long ago. But God bless him, God bless his family. Now, let's get back to business. Next part is public comment. We only have one person signed up. And Mr. Pinkett, we're going up. Next 3 minutes is yours.
Thank you. Sorry for turning my back to you, but
That's fine.
it's against the old spots.
I'm okay with that.
A couple of weeks ago, you guys approved what I'll call a hazard pay for the sheriff's office. They indicated that they had that excess in their budget and it was deserved for their folks. And not that I disagree, I actually do agree with that. But that was a good use of that excess money. However, it puts all the other department heads in the position that we need to ask for the same. Our folks are in much the same danger as the sheriff's office folks are in just by coming to work. We're fortunate in our office where we do have an excess in our budget. I confirmed the excess with the auditor's office. It's like it's around $200,000, which I think would be far more than our office could use. So what I'd like to ask you guys to do on the next agenda, put an item that would be for vote and discussion of hazard pay for employees in my office and any other office that you guys think is necessary. And we'll certainly offer, if we can, whatever excess we have to the county pool. We think that everybody should be treated the same. If they came to work and others didn't come to work, and we're going to reward some for that, we should reward all for that. So we're actually put that on the next agenda. And again, offering whatever money we have for all the county employees. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Next item is consent agenda. Are there any questions? Mike, do we have any add-ons today?
Yeah, we have a couple add-ons. Want to, an ag extension, they want to transfer $5,000 to office expense. And in veteran services, they want to transfer $350 from education and training to office expense.
Ag extension, $5,000 office expense. Veteran services, $350 to office expense. Any others?
That's it, Judge.
All righty.
I'm here for any questions you guys have about the expenses related to the Liberty Police Department. And I've got Mike Parrish, a detective, Liberty Police Department, here to explain that use if you guys would like us to.
Well, sure. We always would welcome anyone to come up and visit with us.
Thank you. What they're asking for and what we're
Y'all come up this way.
Yes, sir. What we're asking for, And what the Liberty Police Department asked us for were 4 new computers that are mobile and also have a desk station. And in addition to that, it's for the detectives.
Right.
In addition to that, there's also a Tyler software package, which is really appealing to myself, and I know Mr. Poston too. Because what we're trying to do, what we've been trying to do since 2013 is get as many departments as we can connected with each other. The ease of document transfer, the ease of evidence tracking is so much better if we're all in a similar system. So they're asking for these 4 computers that I can tell you that we went over there about a month ago to work on a really big case, and we tried to use their computers. We sat at a desk for about an hour watching the computer just spin. Yes. I think they did it on purpose, so I would come and ask you to buy it. It's a pretty good plan. It worked. No, but the city of Liberty, like all the cities around here, the budget's strapped, and we have this extra money from drug dealers that we want to spend on law enforcement to catch more drug dealers. So that's what this is for. So these guys have this tool that they need, and also provides that Tyler part provides a connectivity that Mr. Post and I are really looking for.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your consideration.
Yes.
Thank you. With the additions, I make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion. Bruce, second. Greg, to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number, regular agenda, 7.1. Consider and approve payment due to Cleveland TERS in the amount of $21,698 for the years of 2017, 2018, and 2019. I guess we finally got our bill in there, Brother Rick. But
Yeah, we did, Judge.
if you would go ahead and describe it to us.
Yes. I don't know if everybody can, I don't know if they want to see me or just hear me.
They do want to see you with your Longhorn shirt on. I don't know how you got in your.
2009 World Series. You have to keep them because you don't get them that often, so.
We won't gavel you today on that.
I hear you. Okay, first of all, this is something that kind of going back in time to bring you up to speed. 2017, I guess this commissioner's court would have been in effect and actually approved an agreement to support our farm TERS. I think it was our first one. And we looked at it long and hard. In fact, we looked at all the plus and minuses, and the city of Cleveland came in. They had been working on it for a while. They kind of brought us in kind of on the backside of it. But again, they realized that they needed the county's contribution to make this project a reality. At least that's how they represented it.
That's the Grand Oaks Reserve.
Yes, the Grand Oaks Reserve. Anyone coming in to Cleveland on 105, it's the development to your right. Actually, it's a 600 and something acre tract of previously flooded land that probably some people even in this room have hunted on it in the past. Maybe not in this room, but in this meeting. And beyond that, they know that that was one of the requirements. Actually, they didn't improve the property, and it took it basically out of flood property and actually made it into a taxing unit. It had an ag exemption for timber and floodland and all that stuff. It butted up to the city of Cleveland. It's in the city limits, of course, and it was going to be a multi-phase thing. It was apartments, a 9-hole golf course, and dwellings. And of course, the way they kind of covered the flood deal, they were to dig a 30-acre lake and then take the fill out of that and spread it out over the property, creating some enhancements to it to make it inhabitable for houses and remove that flood hazard. And of course, the development of the golf course made it that way also by creating water holes or hazards in you guys that play golf. I usually find those pretty easily myself, but that is an actual credit to flood because it's a retention pond. And it also retains a lot of golf balls, after the thing's over with, I'm sure. But the way we're looking at it, it's a 25-year commitment. our first payment was due in 2017. And really the way it works, it's based on captured value. There was a 2016 base value. And again, I'm kind of going through all this just to let you know, this is kind of how we got there. You may have forgotten how we did it, but I'm just going to bring you up to speed because we're in this project for 25 years. So get used to it. It's, you know, it's going to be around 22 more years. We're actually taking care of 3 in one shot. So, and what we've been saying all along is we were waiting on a bill from the TERS so that you could act as an entity, come up with it. And the process we've gone through is basically we actually got a bill back in April. And quite honestly, there's a few things going on in April in my office. A lot of that we were closed and weren't really checking everything. But actually the city of Cleveland or the TERS that actually presented us with what we actually are looking at right now is a calculation showing for the 3 years how much the county actually owed the TERS. And I kind of overlooked it. And then in June, they kind of sent me a little reminder, hey, just checking back with you. And I said, oh, thanks. Did overlook that, but we'll get on it right now. At that point, I sent out an email to, I think, the auditor, the judge. I don't know, Matthew, if you got in on that one or not, but it was basically saying, hey, we got this bill. We need to come up with a process to pay them. Because, so my understanding was I needed to present it for someone to authorize the auditor to actually disperse this money. Because basically we've collected the taxes and now we're turning back and giving back 60% of what we collected of the captured value. So there's a formula and I think we've included in y'all's paperwork the actual worksheet that gives the detail. Starts off with the base, the frozen value, which is each year what we compare it back to. 2,871,540, and that was the appraised value of this 600 and something acre tract in 2016, which we verified with the Central Appraisal District. And then we came up with, I'll just run you through the first year. 2017 value was 3,733,270. So the captured value, the difference is 861,730. So the process we did was go in and we looked up the accounts that were in the 2017 calculation, which was 2 accounts, still 2 property accounts. And we verified, you know, the value. We showed that we collected in taxes a total of $21,608 in taxes. That's how much we took in. So again, we've got to come in and figure it's a formula. The difference, we take off the 2,871 because we don't give them credit for that. We just give them the captured value of 861 times our tax rate, which came out to 4,988. And then we owe them 60% of that. So that's why we owe them 2,993 for 2017. And then you just walk it through each year. Same thing, 18, it went up some more. 3,949,000, you subtract the base tax. Base year, you come up with a difference of 1,078,000. Again, you walk it through. And then 19, 7,179,000, a difference of 4,308,000 times the rate. So it's very easily spelled out. 2,993 for 17, 3,744 for 18, and 14,961 for 19, coming up with a total of $21,698. Now, we went through the process of looking at all the accounts. In the first 2 years, there's only 2 accounts. That made it easy. Then they started multiplying. 19, there was 20 accounts. Now, the only difference I did find was that there's one of these accounts that did not actually pay in 19. And that's the only thing that I'm going to check on is $136.21. I didn't think it was worth holding up the whole process. And I'm going to make them aware of that one account is still delinquent and ask that get paid. And then all these numbers will flow to my satisfaction that we've collected more than we're paying out. Now, when you go back to their original forecast, again, we're at about a $12 million value now on the property going into 2020. According to their numbers, 2020, our appraised value would be $137,512,756.
And what are we now?
12. So that's rather optimistic. And again, they've been challenged, but they are improving. At the end of the 25 years, 2042, there's supposed to be a certified value of $465 million. Who knows? I mean, it's a long time off, but they're definitely behind right now. But we've collected what we've collected, which was more than we were collecting to begin with. We're going to pay back a portion of that, but we still kept 40% of that. And it is building value. I think we're looking at some 40 or 50 accounts for the 2020 calculation at the 12 million. We were dealing with 20 for 12 million. So each time they develop a lot, because right now it's just basically raw land with streets, but as they take in a lot, they just add it and it creates another account. So and supposedly we're setting up a CAD where this will be automated a little bit. I mean, right now it's just hands-on, seeing what came in, what went out. So I think we've got it set up with CAD where they'll actually tag it and we'll just get a printout from them. We show they paid it and it's a lot simpler process. So I'm looking forward to that for next year. And these reports will just be basically routine. And hopefully they continue this value because again, they're building value for the county at 40%. And then eventually when the total gets paid back, we get, of course, 100% of it. So it is a TERS, it's created. I don't know how active the TERS board is. I'm not even sure who the TERS representative from Liberty County. I would suggest that we ask for some kind of reporting from the TERS board. I think we're entitled to that, kind of let where they are. And like I said, it took 3 years before we actually got a bill on this thing. So it does have some provisions in there. If you don't pay it on time, they can even charge you interest. So I don't want us to get into that kind of penalty box with it. But I think it's my recommendation that I can certify to you that we have collected the money, the agreement's in place, which y'all have signed. And to me, this calculation would serve as my basis, with the exception of the one little delinquent account, which we're going to try to get paid. So it's my recommendation today that you, as Commissioners Court, authorize this payment to be made to the TERS.
Okay.
Any questions?
Richard.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need information on who to mail this check to. They're gonna need to fill out a W-9, and also I'm gonna need a request for payment with documentation on your calculations in my office, sent to my office.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good enough. Thanks.
And I think it's due, well, it doesn't really say when it's due, it just says here it is, but again, it's a little, I'm just gonna go on the record. I collect the money. I didn't make the deal. I collected. You as a Commissioner's Court, you have a representative on the TERS board. This is an active, situation. It's a 25-year project. And I suggest that in the future, as you enter into these agreements, to make some kind of concession for this. Because again, this falls on our office to do all this verification and do all this documentation. I don't mind doing that, but again, we're right in the middle of doing tax rates. We're right, the way these things fall in. And with it going to an automated process with CAD, that may be fine. But again, I mentioned this probably 3 years ago when we made this agreement, that there is some working parts to these things. It's not simply kind of like grants and everything else. Once you sign it, you're under the obligation to perform under these things. And I think I would suggest that this thing goes under the supervision of the grant program, just like you have an agreement with the grant, because these are a living document that has requirements, they have reporting, they have payment. I'm only one phase of this. I just verified that they actually paid it. And to me, I think beyond that, I don't feel like I really have that, I don't know what the word is, but I don't have a real comfort level of certifying that you as a group owe this money to them. You know, I can verify that I collected it and it looks like it's in compliance, but I do think it needs some more oversight and it needs somebody, you know, responsible for it. If you deem that that's me, you know, I think it's more of a combination of, you know, somebody from the attorney, from the audit, from the, you know,
Well, the
the legal side.
city of Cleveland's gonna be one.
Yes,
Actually, the developer themselves, they were the ones who requested the TERS
right.
and were granted the TERS with agreement between the city of Cleveland and the
Mhm.
county. And if I remember correctly, looking at a boilerplate description of the TERS, this matched it perfectly because of the mitigation aspect of what TERS can do.
No, it hit all
And
the,
it's a swamp.
checked all the boxes, I think, yeah.
Since this is the first payment that we've been made since we've created this TERS, and with what Dwayne is specifying he wants, is this gonna put us beyond the date that it's supposed to, and are we gonna start accruing interest?
But to me, we're already 3 years beyond that date because the TERS did not present us a bill till April of 2020. So I don't think they have any grant, but again, I'm not looking at the agreement or the penalty. I'm just advising that, and I've discussed this, you know, each year because we had to do it in our truth and taxation because it goes in your truth and taxation formula if you have any kind of TERS payments. So this isn't the first time we've looked at it, and I've asked
Just
kind of like the city.
presented a bill, really.
Yeah, it's kind of the city of Cleveland, their CFO has kind of seemed like he's personally doing it for the TERS. And again, look like they're more involved in it. It was a big win for them, you know, getting in this kind of development, you know, right in their city. So I understand them being active in it. But again, that's a whole financial department that's taking care of them. That's an auditor, that's a, you know, legal staff, you know, that's kind of a whole network of people that are overseeing the city's contribution, and their contribution is only 40%, ours is 60%. So I just feel like we don't need a standalone group certifying on this. I think we need to have a little more collective
Checks and
help on
balances.
it.
Sounds good to me, but we can request and I believe we get it clear.
And especially since it's gonna be around for 25 years, and as we take on new, I know this isn't gonna be the only one that the county takes on.
Right.
But
We've already got another.
yeah, so it just stands to reason that we may need to do a little more behind the scenes stuff to make this more routine.
Yeah, the account should have been set up a while back.
Yes, yes. And again, it's best to set it up when you sign it. It's too late, you know, kind of when it's already, you know, it's already in motion and we've been working on it. But I think to get us prepared for next year, we need a little more, you know, maybe ongoing supervision or organization. I'm not for building positions as much as I am for delegating this out to a group of people. It's kind of like your bond committee that actually oversees your, you know, your grants and all these, not your bond, your grant committee.
What it gets down to is your number checks out right, Dwayne's number checks out right, City of Cleveland's number checks out right,
Yep.
and the TERS group themselves checks out right.
Yes.
As long as we have that, we're in.
It's a checks and balance, like you said, and again, I just feel a little uncomfortable kind of doing this alone. You know,
Well,
I don't mind doing it, and that's why I called the meeting the other day, just to get everybody on top of it, and let's see how we go, instead of just telling y'all, hey, you need to approve this thing. I can present the numbers that they paid it, and basically, and I understand Dwayne wanting authorization, because he's taking money that's been paid in and dispersing it back out, and that's clearly something that he has the right to have verification on.
I'll just make it, let y'all know, when I look at this request from Richard, it'll be the first one I've ever looked at. So I'm just letting y'all know that.
No,
Not like, yeah, look,
I totally understand, Dwayne. This is the first one.
I
I agree, there's probably some things we need to look at, for the future, but we gotta make a decision now on this, so I make a motion that we approve pending he meets all the Dwayne's requirements.
Matthew,
Yes,
are you comfortable with this?
yes, we have a duty to do this.
Okay.
We've signed an agreement promising that we will do this very thing. So, yeah. So while I certainly understand where Ricky's coming from, he can't advise on the legality of it. And I can't tell you what the numbers should look like, but if he says the numbers are right, we have a duty to do this.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Second.
And he meets the Dwayne's requirement, I'm sure we will.
Okay. Got a motion from Greg, second from Leon to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thanks, Joe.
So stay up here, we got one more.
Yeah. Don't leave now. See, number 7.2, consider approved waiving penalties and interest for taxpayer Liberty ISD in the amount of $1,506.50. Rick?
Yes, sir. Judge, can you cite that name of that account? I mean, we've got a few of them on there, but I think it's that.
Account 149234.
Yeah, I'm just, the main thing is, because we get these in and then I just, yeah, strata minerals. And I think this, that's the realization. I failed to bring the copy with me, but this is a very interesting account. And to me, this is lost money that, you know, like I said, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. We rolled into this one. Basically, these are some taxes that were way back on a mineral account. Strata Minerals, ever since they've owned it, they paid like clockwork. They took over an account that was delinquent and basically have paid it like they're supposed to. But they inherited about the 2006 to 2015 of delinquent taxes. Mineral values at not even half of what we're trying to collect from them. So Linebarger, when they took over, they just sent a bill to everybody who owed anything. People came out of the woodwork, like, why are you sending me a tax bill or something to that? Well, they just entered computer, sent out letters. And we got a lot of interesting conversations with people like, I didn't even know I owned that. Well, sure, yeah, you did, but you do. And so in this case, I talked to the guy who had this. He said, well, we didn't even own the account then. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I will recommend that since there wasn't really a good accounting of it or good notification, good address, whatever, if you'll pay me the base tax on all those years, I will recommend to the entities that they waive the penalty and the interest. And basically that's what they did. They wrote us a check for the base tax on taxes all the way back to 2006 through 2015. They paid that in full, all the base tax. And what I'm recommending to you, it's a little different than we normally do, but to me, it still falls under the general category. It makes sense. And I'm gonna say common sense prevails. If we can collect base tax on something that these people didn't really even owe, but it's against their minerals, that it's a good move to go along with it. So I am, you know, recommending that you waive the penalty and interest for all these back years because we've already collected the base tax. And I think it's, you know, it's solid.
It's a good effort on everybody's behalf.
It is, yeah, and it cleans it up. It gives money and it's even, they paid in more than even the current value of it. So if we were to liquidate it or try to go after it, we would not come close to recovering that because, you know, the value is not there. So
Who's the taxpayer?
it's Strata.
Minerals.
Strata Minerals, the actual property ID number is 149234. Strata Minerals Inc.
The total is $1,506.50.
And that's the county's portion. Of course, the other entities involved, Liberty ISD, would also, we're asking them, and typically we go to the county first and then go from there.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion for Bruce, second for Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Great, thank you.
Likewise, nays. And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7.3, consider to approve interlocal agreement for acquisition and demolition of property located at 303 Hill Street in Dayton, Texas. And that's just our agreement with city of Dayton. We normally execute on property that, well, is run down and needs to be removed. I appreciate your consideration.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for Bruce, second for Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7.4, Engineering Department, consider to approve grant application for GLO funding associated with Hurricane Harvey recovery money. David, I see you
Good
there.
morning. How is everybody this morning?
Good. How you doing today?
Just doing fine. Judge, this is for the upcoming application cycle that will be due to GLO in late October. Right now, we're struggling with this grant program a little because they've got a 51% low to moderate income requirement on all beneficiaries. So I'm working with Grant Works and also with LJA Engineering to see if we can pick out some pockets throughout the county that will qualify and score up correctly. If you don't score up around 65 points on these competitions, then you won't be funded. So that's what we're trying to do right now. And we're asking the Commissioners Court to give us an authorization to go ahead and submit an application in late October.
Okay.
Make the motion we approve.
Got a motion from Leon, second for Bruce to approve.
Greg.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Number 7.5, consider to approve request to go out for bids on asphalt to lay on a heliport at Liberty County Sheriff's Office gun range. And that, actually, the limestone pad will stay there one and two, but the asphalt just covered.
Pardon?
I said, actually, the limestone pad's there right now. You're just gonna cover the limestone pad with asphalt, correct?
Right. That way, when they land, no rocks will fly or anything. So,
You don't need rocks flying into your blades.
no, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
And that's also precinct 3 up there, not 4 on the land at it.
Yeah. We'll fix that.
Yeah. Don't want Leon to get that.
Boo, could you come to my office, please, after the meeting?
Come to your office.
Call me after the meeting.
Oh, okay. I can come to the principal's office quick, don't I?
Got a motion from Bruce, need a second? Got a second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7.6, consider an award bid number 20-10 for culverts. Harold, glad to see you here this morning, Robert. How you doing? Good.
All right, we got 2 bids in from Culver's and Borderline Waterworks, if someone new, for polyethylene pipe that we use. And I don't know if Boo and Leon emailed this to y'all yesterday. I'm not sure if you got it. Hopefully you did. Borderline,
Got it.
Borderline Waterworks was the lowest, basically cents, less than $1 and stuff. And the guy that sent in the bid and signed it, he had Magnolia as his location. I know they have an office also in Friendswood, but I don't know where they're gonna send them from, but delivery and freight charges are included in the bid price. It doesn't matter.
My only question is, is it out there, right? I mean, are they?
They follow the specs. Pretty detailed.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I got frontline water work.
I got a motion from Boo, second from Bruce to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays.
Thank you, Harold.
That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7.7, consider and approve resolution requesting the state comptroller's office to release an allocated portion of 2020 unclaimed capital credits from electric cooperatives back to Liberty County. And this is an annual request. The money's there. We just had to ask him to pay it back. Got a motion from Greg,
Second.
second from Boo. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. Carry unanimous. Thank you. Number 7.8, Lee, get ready. This is gonna be yours here. Consider take action, if any, to approve the purchase of 2 Safeco Master File 2 cabinets for the storage of flats, county clerk's office, including 5 boxes of the adhesive carrier strips for labeling and storage for a total of $14,805 to be paid from the county clerk's records management fund. 1 cabinet will replace 3 older cabinets currently holding flats. That's pretty well explains it.
Where are you gonna put these at?
Well, we're gonna put them where they are right now. The problem is we have old cabinets that have swing doors and David knows what I'm talking about, and the plats pull out. The current way that they store plats are in these boxes that open up and they pull out, and you can get 1,000 plats in a box. We have 2 of them that are full, so we need a 3rd one, but we don't have room for the 3rd one. The only thing I can figure to do is to take those old green ones and all the plats that are in them and take them out and put them into one of these, mass storage boxes. And when we do that, all 4 of them will fit against the wall. So we'll get rid of the old green ones, unless you want to save them for our antique show later, our antique setup. And then put those plants into a more of a high density storage unit. That's why we need so many boxes of the strips. And then the one we have right now, you guys are approving a lot of plats, and the reality of that is they take up a lot of space. So we are out of space for the plat storage, and we need another bin. But the only way to make it fit is if we replace the old bins with the more modern, strip, put them in you're welcome to come look at my office if you'd like to.
Hey, I'm on.
What money's coming from?
Recommend.
I make one to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7.9, consider and take action, if any, to approve purchase of rack and battery backup system for enhanced security access for the county for computer systems, including but not limited to the county clerk's new records management system and court case management system for $20,485.11 from Conoco Minolta to be paid from the county clerk records management fund. Installation is necessary for software security for the clerk staff and others accessing county computer systems. That's pretty descriptive. I don't really think I need to go back through this one again. The weeds are clear.
So let me say this much. We've had some holdups on our Odyssey conversion. Not to mention we just started our Eagle conversion, and it's going to be over with pretty soon. Without this in place, it's all coming to a halt, and we just can't wait any longer. We've got to get this in place. The jail site has been a holdup, and I'm going to pat one of my guys on the back. Linda's been working her tail off to do the jail work so it can get caught up, so Odyssey can get back on track. And she's been doing a fantastic job. But between Melinda's work and this purchase, we will actually get out of the red into the green and get back on track on our conversion. And I think you've all noticed we've been hacked a lot lately. This is going to put an end to a lot of that stuff. We need it, and I am more than happy to pay for it. So it's impacting my office in a big way, so. we need it.
Lots of offices.
Yeah.
I very much.
All right,
Yeah, the IT department appreciates it very much. We need this to go forward.
all right. What's the court's pleasure?
Make the motion we approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Leon, a second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. 7:10. Consider to approve the issuance of the request for qualifications for construction manager at risk services for the sheriff's office and JP Precinct 3 project, including the required notice to be published in local newspaper. And what a construction manager at risk is, he's an unconcerned third party, basically, that oversees the construction of these two facilities. He works really for the county in our interest, but he makes sure that the contractor does exactly what he's supposed to do, and the architect that issues the orders and the plans for the contractor to follow, especially when it gets down to the cookbook, as we call it, the project manual, that this at-risk manager follows exactly what the architect wants and then makes sure that the contractor adheres to all the terms and conditions of the contract and the construction progress and process, to include a probably the timeline that is set aside by the architect of the county as far as the project's progress, because progress reports are generated, and from those progress reports, payments are made to the contractor. Okay, so if the construction manager at risk says they're at 10% completion, and the contractor has a request for payment, then we would give them 10% of what the contract face value is. So that's how it operates, but it protects us, protects both the contractor and protects the architect and engineers. And I would request that we approve the issuance of the request for qualifications to hire one. Okay.
Make the motion we approve.
That's it.
And a motion from Leon, second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Just another step there, Sheriff. 7-11, consider approving an order for election on November 3rd, 2020 for measure creating emergency service district number 8 for registered voters residing within the boundaries of the proposed district. And I believe we beat this one up in the last 3 meetings, well, 2 meetings. This meeting, the third, and we have actually put our notices in the paper as required by law.
We have, so this is for the, you have to provide a couple of notices to have an election on an issue like this. This would take care of the election code notices that have to also take place in order to have the election. This topic will still come up for consideration on the 25th to substantively decide whether or not the petition should be approved and it should be ordered for election. If you vote, if Commissioner's Court says no to this today, then you won't be able to have an election this November on this issue. Okay, so whatever y'all are going to do on the 25th, whatever the will of the court turns out to be, if you don't approve this election right now, you're already deciding how to do it. Okay, so I would encourage you to consider doing this, because when you finally get to the point where you can hear the substantive issues, then you still have the opportunity to decide either way. And you can still cancel this election code notice down the road. So you're not bound by anything. To keep your options open today, you're going to have to, you would have to approve this.
What's the court's pleasure?
I'm gonna vote. I want to vote that we approve this. I've spoken in quite length with Matthew on this situation. Can you hear me, Jay?
Yeah, start over again. I can barely hear you.
I'm going to make the motion. We approve this. I've spoken in great length with Matthew about this situation. And so I'm going to make the motion that we approve it.
Got a motion from Leon. Waiting on a second. I'll wait for another 15 seconds. Okay, not hearing a second on the motion from Leon, and subsequently, this motion dies for lack of second. Is that the way you look at it, Matthew?
That's correct.
All right, takes care of that. Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion for Bruce, second for Greg. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. We are adjourned.
Greg, I don't need to-